That's okay. Thanks for joining us today on the
No worries.
weekend.
It's an honor. It's an honor for me. Yes.
All right. Okay. What I'll do is let's just get started, and then we've already lived on Facebook, so I'll get the ball rolling. Firstly, good morning, all the students joining us either on the Zoom platform or the Facebook Live platform. I am Razali, the Office Manager for Australia and New Zealand for IDP Singapore. Welcome to our Studying Cybersecurity with Edith Cowan University session brought to you by IDP Education. Now we'll be having our partners from ECU who will be speaking on their cybersecurity. Now we'll be having our partners from ECU who will be speaking on their as well as sharing by one of our ECU's postgrad students, and I'll introduce them a little later. But before that, let me just do a quick housekeeping and introduction. We are recording the session today and also broadcasting it live to our Facebook page. We will have a session Q&A at the end of it, so please feel free to leave your questions on the chat function throughout the session. We'll also try to post the questions to the student at the end of it when we have a student interview, and try to have all your questions answered as well. Now, let me just begin with a short introduction of IDP. Now, IDP is a global leader in international education services. We help our students study in English-speaking countries, and our success comes from connecting students with the right course in the right institution and the right country. We've been operating for about 50 years now, creating a huge network of opportunity with over 100 offices in over 30 countries. Now, IDP is actually co-owned and founded by universities, and as such is the official representative of over 700 institutions. We are also the proud co-owner of IELTS, the world's most popular English language test, and operator of 9 English language teaching campuses in Southeast Asia. Now, part of our work involves fostering strong collaborations with our university partners to continuously drive interest in overseas education. And with that, I'm very happy to hand over the session to Ms. Natalie, our International Account Manager for Edith Cowan University, who will be presenting on ECU. Natalie, would you like to take over?
Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you so much for coming today. We're really excited to have you at the IDP webinar, talk about cybersecurity with Edith Cowan University. So firstly, I'll introduce myself. My name is Natalie. I am the International Account Manager at Edith Cowan University. So I'm actually originally from Canada. You'll find that a lot of the people that you meet in Perth are from all around the world. I'll tell you a little bit more about why I love Perth and why I've settled here. Some fun facts about ECU. The entry requirements and different pathway providers that we have. Some information about scholarships. I know that's always very exciting. And even more exciting, we've got Dr. Mohi Ahmed with us today to talk more about cybersecurity and the curriculum that you'd be studying. And then we have Daryl, who is one of our Master of Cybersecurity students. So he'll share a little bit more about his experience here in Perth and also just at ECU and in his course. And we'll open it up for questions. So here we go. First, Perth. So very exciting. Just like Singapore, we are in the same time zone as 60% of the world. And I can tell you from my personal experience living in Perth and my family being a 13-hour difference, it's very hard to stay in touch. Being in the same time zone really makes that connection easier. Perth has been voted the top 6th most livable city in the world, and we've been consistently in the top 10. It's very easy to believe that. The quality of life here and just, the cleanliness of the air, the safety, the beautiful sunsets, that it's just a great place to be. So we're very lucky. I have a little video here that explains a bit more. That was done in partnership with Edith Cowan College. So some of the points I've already addressed, but something I wanted to highlight is how many opportunities there are for international students. Now, during COVID, Perth has been very little affected by this at the moment. We've been really lucky, to be honest. But our economy is the strongest in the nation. It really hasn't been affected by COVID, which means there's lots of part-time jobs for you if you wanted to work a little while you're studying, and lots of career opportunities as well when you graduate. So definitely something to think about when you're considering where you want to end up. Here's a video on ECU.
Inspired by the work of Edith Cowan, we set out in 1991 to transform lives through education and research, giving our students the tools they need to take on the world. We've come a long way in our 30 years, growing into a modern, vibrant university and accomplishing some pretty incredible things. We've earned a spot in the top 100 young universities worldwide, with our teaching quality consistently ranked among the best in Australia. Our campuses have world-class facilities for teaching and research, with great places to study and relax. And the Western Australian Academy of Performing Arts at ECU is one of the most celebrated performing arts academies in the world. We pride ourselves on our forward thinking, delivering up-to-date theory and skills to tackle the problems of tomorrow. And with the announcement of the new ECU City Campus, our future looks brighter than ever.
It's always nice to see a few shots of the campus as well. So yes, ECU is a very young university, but we are incredibly innovative. We've been climbing up the rankings in such a short time, so it's definitely a good time for you to join. We are consistently ranked top public university for undergraduate teaching quality, which is amazing considering, you know, how young we are compared to the other universities in Australia. We're already in the top 100 and we're in the top 2.5 in the world. So all universities, top 2.5 in the world. So that's a really amazing feat considering our age. What does that mean for you as well? It means that you're studying at a university that has very modern facilities, very new labs. Our cybersecurity specifically is quite amazing, but just the campus in general is beautiful. We have 3 different campuses in Western Australia, and you might have seen the spoiler alert that ECU City is coming. So we are building a brand new campus right in the city. This is going to absolutely transform the central business area of Perth. So it's really exciting times. Now it won't open until 2025, but that's not really all that far away. And ECU's name will become even more recognized. The most important thing, I think, to note is that while many universities are, letting go staff, the international borders are closed, everyone's struggling, we're not able to facilitate the start of as many students as we used to from an international point of view. But ECU is looking towards the future and investing in our students' future as well. So that's another great reason to be with us. I've already said, about our outstanding facilities. So very state-of-the-art. You are learning from the best. So our teachers are not only skilled at how to teach, but also they have professional experience, which really links you back into the industry. They understand what the industry looks for, and they build that into the curriculum. Very important part of ECU's delivery is to have an applied learning focus. And cybersecurity if you're doing undergraduate or postgraduate, in your last semester, you will be doing a work integrated project or internship, something that will make you, be able to hit the ground running as soon as you graduate and look for a new career, a new job. Exciting times. This entry requirements for Singapore are quite standard. So we calculate it over the A levels. It's really not that difficult. However, I know that different students like to come in different ways. So we do have many pathway providers, Edith Cowan College, of course, you saw in the video, and we have an array of different partners in Perth as well that are teaching lots of different subjects. If you've studied an IT diploma in Singapore, that also could be recognized and give you some advanced standing into second year of the program. We can assess that for you, no problem. We have some really great scholarships. So Singaporean students are very lucky to get a 20% undergraduate scholarship for the full duration of their course and 20% for the first year of a master course. We also have, can't travel right now, can you? So we have a 30% reduction in our tuition fees if you start online. Scholarship, yes, big incentive to commence online while we're waiting for finally the borders to reopen. But also there's lots of advantages. So the flexibility in your learning, you can start with 1, 2, 3, or 4 units. You will connect with students from all around the world. You're not alone. And of course, you will get this 30% scholarship. So it's really worth considering. Not only that, really worth considering for developing some relevant skills for the industry. So working online is not something that's just going to go away when we learn to live with COVID. It's here to stay. So by showing that you can do some learning online, it also translates to how you can adapt at work in this environment. And so I'm going to hand it over now to our professor.
All right, thank you, Natalie, for introducing WA, and for all the participants here. I would like to just echo what Natalie just said. I have been here in Australia for almost a decade now, and I moved to Perth in 2019. And yes, WA is like no other places in Australia. And I always tell my wife that we should not plan to leave this place anytime soon, because this is a perfect place to be. There is no complaints. It's like a mini heaven for us, for raising families, studying, and living a good life. So yes, I'm really happy to be here in WA. And on top of that, being part of Edith Cowan University's academic staff member is a blessing. So without further ado, I'll just go ahead and talk about ECU. And again, here is my nice photo. Behind you can see the ECU's Joondalup campus. And yes, my day job is to educate the next generation cybersecurity leaders and conduct research on various aspects of cybersecurity, starting from Internet of Things, blockchain, healthcare, unmanned aerial vehicles, critical infrastructure, and information warfare. So why you should be interested in studying at ECU, and more specifically, why computing and security? So as Natalie mentioned, that ECU is in the top 2.5% universities in the world and inside top 500 worldwide. And most interestingly, being a young university, which is under 50 years old, we are in top 100 young universities across the world. So that is reflecting how much efforts we are putting towards enhancing the quality of education and services we can offer as an university. So as you'll see that according to our graduates, 15 years in a row, we have been having 5-star rating for teaching quality. And yes, it might be seeming that, okay, I'm teaching here, so I am bragging, but no, it's coming from our graduates. And ECU is also rated 5-star and second among all the Australian public universities for overall education experience. So it's not just the quality of teaching, we also value the educational experience these students are going to have. And in other cases like skills development, student support, and learning resources, we are also having 5 stars and the highest amount of rating according to all the other Western Australian universities. So yes, we are a young university, but we are trying our best here to provide the best possible university service and education towards the next generation of the leaders. Now, there is another indicator or statistics, quality indicators for learning and teaching. So yes, we focus heavily on the undergraduate teaching because you will see that the undergraduate quality teaching is 6th year in a row, which is top as ECU. So ECU was ranked top ranked Australian public university for undergraduate skills development and probably now 7 years in a row. So top ranking university for undergraduate international students overall experience. So yes, you might find there might be something less to do with international students when it comes down to Australia. But as Nathalie mentioned, here in Western Australia, the amount of experience and quality of life and the facilities students get, that is like no other in other Australian states. So yes, I'm not saying other Australian states are really bad, but we are all good, and WA is leading in terms of the international students experience. So it's not just getting in and out of the university, but also starting from living experience, living condition, the part-time working opportunities, abilities to network with industry leaders, subject matter experts, and coming up together in a new life. So yes, as you can see, I myself was an international student almost 10 years back here in Australia, and you can see me that how I have transformed into being an Australian citizen, and I'm having a happy life here in Australia. So it's not just the education we get from the university, but overall living standards, conditions, and our future career roles and our rest of our life. So yes, the WA is going to provide you all that, and ECU is going to play a vital role in that. Now, coming back to our computing and security. So ECU's computing and security is like no other, and I'm going to show you some stats in next couple of slides. So it is ranked top university in Australia for undergraduate skills development in computing and information systems, according to QYLT. So when it comes down to computing and security, we have pushed ourselves to the edge while designing the courses. We have come up with a perfect blend of theoretical and hands-on learning activities. And the students are going to be challenged with activities which will enhance the problem solving and critical thinking abilities. You will also have the opportunities to learn from and work with industry leaders and subject matter experts. And all these computing and security courses are accredited by Australian Computer Society, which means there has been no compromise when it comes to quality education. So in a nutshell, all I can tell you is ECU's computing and security courses are unlike any other Australian universities offering. So yes, here we have a perfect combination of theoretical and hands-on learning activities, which will help you to become one of the next generation cybersecurity or IT leaders. And also, if you really want to have all the skills you need for employment once you graduate. So we are offering something which is really unique, and all of you should be having a serious consideration when you are choosing your university for computing and security. So what are the courses we are offering here? In terms of bachelor degrees, we have computer science, counterterrorism, security intelligence, cybersecurity, and information technology. We have also have honors degree in computing and security. We have masters by coursework, so you can have major in computer science or you can have focus in cybersecurity. For higher degree research students, we have masters of computing and security by research, which is 2 years course, and we also have PhD, which is the highest Australian qualification. So yes, you can see we are offering every single qualification in higher education sector in terms of computing and security. Now, let's have a look at the cyber security. So as I mentioned earlier, we have complete focus and we have a perfect combination of theoretical and hands-on learning skills. And in this particular photo, you can see it is a snapshot of one of our teaching SOCs. And not to mention, we have the largest SOC in the Southern Hemisphere. So we are not only using the SOCs to teach the students, but to give them a real life experience. So what you are going to do as cybersecurity or computing or IT professional in your real life career roles, you can get the same experience here at ECU. So we are focusing on mostly network security and vulnerability assessment. Internet of Things is a big deal because you might have heard and in the newspaper you have seen the statistics. By 2030, we are going to have more than 500 billions of IoT devices, and all of which will require some sort of security and data analytics. So you need to understand why these courses and why this type of education is really important. So we also focus on information security policy and governance, because apart from your technical skills or digital forensic or ethical hacking skills, you'll also need to focus on governance, risk, and compliances. So yes, we have a perfect blend of everything to do with cybersecurity. And as I mentioned earlier, these are all accredited by Australian Computer Society. And we are also given the title of Academic Center of Cybersecurity Excellence. And only 2 universities in Australia has that rank of Academic Center of Cybersecurity Excellence, and the other one is University of Melbourne. So ECU is the only Australian member of International Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, which means that you are getting the best possible services and education from ECUs when it comes to cybersecurity. And ECU is the lead partner in a $130 million Australian dollar cybersecurity cooperative research center. That means if you are really interested in research or pursuing higher degree once you graduate with your bachelor degree, you also have the option to pursue your higher degree research in a place which already has got millions of dollars of funding from the government and other corporate industries. So as I mentioned, we have lots of teaching SOCs. As in this photo, you can see the students are learning from a SOC, and we have red team and blue team rooms. And these are not your typical classrooms. When it comes down to cybersecurity, computing, and IT, we want you guys to think like a professional and what you are going to do in your day-to-day career role. So when you are in this type of SOC quality classrooms or workshops, you'll get the feeling and experience that yes, when I'm working on a particular assignment or an activity, I feel like yes, that's what I'm going to do in 2 or 3 years time when I'm finishing my degrees. So how we are going to deliver all these contents, how we are going to teach you guys. So there are face-to-face activities, there are labs. So basically we provide the lectures as a recording and everything is available online, and we focus heavily on the hands-on learning activities. So you come to the workshops focusing on exploiting your theoretical learning and work on something really cool and interesting to enhance your hands-on learning skills. And there are options for online activities or online learning. So everything is pre-recorded. All the audio and video resources are there in the Blackboard site, which I'll show in a couple of minutes. And all these practical lab activities are self-led, and all the resources you require, all the supports or all the explanation you need, everything is recorded and demonstrated in vignettes. So you don't have to look at a 1 hour or 2 hour long lectures. All the lectures are chopped into small vignettes so that you can learn one quick thing within just 5 to 7 minutes, and then you can work on the activities associated with that. So you have the perfect combination when it comes down to teaching and learning. So here's the learning environment we have. As I said earlier, we are using Blackboard, and which is one of the popular learning management systems. And from next year, we are going to focus on another learning environment, which is called Canvas. So these are really simple and easy to use. So you don't really have to look at different places to search for stuff. Everything is there in front of you, and you just need to click on certain modules and you'll find everything pretty much easier. It's like you can find your ways through certain topics or certain demonstrations, certain assignments, certain briefs, whatever you want to look for. And unlike the regular teaching method, we don't really want you to think like that. We want you to think like the pedagogic model we are following, that is more focused on your learning outcomes and how you're going to get the best out of your time here at ECU. So instead of long lectures and followed by labs, we are going to follow 5E pedagogic model. That means if you look at this particular slide, you see we're talking about an example of introduction to cybersecurity, which is just an exemplar module. So you'll find that the checklist, the tasks you need to do are engage, explore, elaborate, evaluate, and explain. So after you complete all these 5E activities, you'll have a fulfilling experience, and you'll get the feeling that, yes, I have gained some new knowledge, and I'm confident that I'm going to be able to conduct some activities and which will complement my learning. So basically, you'll be engaging with looking at some of the vignettes, mostly from TED Talks. So you'll be learning from the best of the best speakers across the globe. So watching those videos, we are going to embed some interest in a particular topic in you. And then we come in and lecture on that particular topic. For example, in the introductory cybersecurity module, you'll have significant cybersecurity breaches and challenges, self-reflection on cybersecurity, the aims of cybersecurity, and selling cybersecurity. So you'll get to look at these vignettes of lecture slides and recorded version of the lecture. You'll get more and more interested. And then you need to explore by yourself. You have the reading list. So go to the reading list and read the associated reading. So this is how you are continuously enhancing your knowledge on this particular topic. And then to complement all this you have done so far, we are going to have some hands-on activities which are in the workshops. So what you need to do in the workshop, that will be explained, and you just need to do it by yourself. And there will be tutors around you to help you if you are stuck somewhere. Then we are going to evaluate you. You have your reflection, you have the assessment tasks, and finally, you have the scope for explaining. So in the discussion forum, what's your thought? What did you like about this topic? What do you want to do with this topic? Or what things you want to share? What's your view on that? So this is how we are going to teach you, and in the end, you are going to have a far more better experience than any other teaching method. And that's why we are following this 5E model. And I can't wait to teach you all with this 5E model. Now, the assessment tasks. So the assessment tasks are the ones which students worry most. So we have case studies, presentations, production activities, tests, video walkthroughs, written reports, and finally exams where we don't really have the options to use the other methods. So yes, those are still time constrained online exams, and it might be at an assessment center. Some units you might have to work in group projects, and in the final year of your course you'll have to work in a capstone project unit which are team based. So all these assessment tasks are designed as such which will challenge you to enhance your critical thinking, problem solving, and team working efforts. And now the student support. So apart from we, the lecturers and tutors, you will also have supports in terms of online communications. So the academic staff members and tutors, you can reach them very easily with email. We are happy to support you. If you have any confusion about anything, we can set up meetings via Teams. We also have chat. We have collaborative sessions in Blackboard. And since you can imagine we have to deal with hundreds of students, you have to expect at least there will be 2 working days to get the responses from the academic staff members. So yes, it's not like you email one staff member or you email myself and I'm going to reply in a week or 2. It's not like that. We prioritize of the students' emails and queries as the number 1. So don't feel like that you are left out. You guys are a first priority. And we have partnership with all the government and corporate and industrial partners across the Australia. So you can see the WA Police, all the cybersecurity firms, all the mining giants and corporate sectors, the government agencies like Department of Premier and Cabinet, banks, and whatnot. So yes, we are working with a lot of people and a lot of agencies across Australia. And yes, since ISU is spearheading the cybersecurity, we are funded by most of these partners, and we are working towards to solving these problems we are having in cyberspace. So learn from the internationally recognized experts. If you are looking at the newses, if you are looking at recent events on cybersecurity, you will find somewhere that some of the ECU academics, subject matter experts, students, staff members, they are talking with media. So we firmly believe that the education we provide is not only for the students we have, we would like to contribute for the rest of the community we have here. That means we are going to also counsel or advise or consult with cybersecurity problems someone else's are having. For example, if there are some new topics emerging, we are going to share our research and views on that. So as you can see, we have strong presence in TVs, radios, newspapers, and all forms of digital media, including the students. So you can see one of our students here, Emily Goldsmith, and we have our Associate Dean of Computing and Security, Professor Paul Haskell Dowland, and you might see one of my articles in the conversation for cryptocurrency. So yes, we have lots of experts here, and not to mention that in computing and security, we have 2 experts working as an advisory council in Interpol. So you can imagine the impact and the expertise we have in cyberspace being at ECU. So exciting things are happening at Edith Cowan University. Come join us and be well ready. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Ahmad, for the fantastic presentation. I think it gave us a pretty good overview about what ECU has to offer, and it seems like a very interesting time as well. I think, I don't know if everybody has read the report before, but in Singapore itself, the government has predicted, over the next few years, 4 out of the 5 jobs actually is coming from STEM, and a lot of this actually coming or related to the IT industry. So always good to get on board to future-proof your career. Now, for the next part of our segment, we actually have a student, if I could get Daryl Hi, Daryl. Sorry, you're on mute.
Hi, Rizali. Yeah. sorry for that.
No worries. All right. So, as shared, so the next part of the segment, we actually have Daryl. So what I'll be doing is I'll be kind of interviewing Daryl in this particular session, just asking him a bit more about himself and, of course, his journey at ECU. And hopefully we get as many questions answered, or the questions that we tend to see our student ask. So maybe for a start, Daryl, you just want to share a bit more about yourself and where you're currently based at.
Yeah. So basically, in Perth. I've been here like for almost 2 years now. So it was in like February. So before like COVID hit, like the critical like pandemic broke out in the world, I was lucky to be here. So yeah, that was a great part. So like the decision that I made to choose Perth, I don't regret it at all, like until now. So yeah, so I'm currently a postgraduate cybersecurity student in ECU. I've been loving the journey so far, the process as well. Like like the students right now have really seen like the depth of how like cybersecurity courses work from Mohi, from what like Mohi presented a while ago. So all of these statistics that Mohi presented, so that was the research that I did when I was like choosing ECU as like my university to like study, because like there were a lot of universities that I needed to like look into, and I decided to go into ECU, and I don't regret it so far. So yeah, it was like it's been a ride, and I'm almost finished. I'm doing like my final project as of now, and yeah, I'm finishing this year, and I'm graduating like next February, like the ceremony, but I'm ending around like October, like the last deadline. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
You're pretty close to the finishing line, so that's
Yes,
pretty
yes.
interesting. Yeah.
It
Just to go back a bit, right? I know you're taking the Master of Cybersecurity. Can I just ask, prior to this, I mean, at the bachelor's level, what were you studying?
Oh yeah, so in the bachelor's level, I was studying information communication technology. So it was really like the general IT. And what made me choose this was like, I really love software. So back when like before Facebook was popular, there was this like social media called Friendster. And when I was able to like poke around how like the layouts work and like this HTML, CSS, I was like, oh, this is so cool. I really want to get into this industry. And yeah, I educated myself, self-education, like coding. And yeah, that's like I took BSICT as my bachelor's. And yeah, before I took this like postgraduate course in ECU, I worked as a software developer. So I developed software, I coded like programming. And at that time, like there was just like always like some point when I was like working that I always think of like, what if this happens? What if, well, like all the what ifs. And that when the opportunity came to me, like to study like outside my country, I saw like this cybersecurity course, and I was like, oh, what is this? This sounds like interesting. And when I looked into it, okay, now I'm developing software. Oh, so there's this other side and where I could protect it. So that's why I like, oh, let's try this. And yeah, I'm here right now.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, before I think we get into the nitty-gritty, I know Dr. Ahmad and Natalie has made us pretty much envious about the current situation in Perth. But you want to share a bit more, because you've been one of the fortunate ones who actually managed to get to Perth before everything happened. So how is it like living in Perth for yourself, coming from a different country?
Yeah, so being like from my country, like being here in Perth is like very like the environment is very laid back. Like I really enjoy it. Like I love working out. Like there are a lot of parks here, like a lot of like nature, really nature centric place, and I really enjoy it. Like a lot of places like Pinnacles Desert, like a lot of zoos. And yeah, it's like very relaxing environment. Like also like the work-life balance, as I've been like seeing from people. Like let's say we have like holidays right now, like people are really going for holidays instead of like working overtime, and like mostly like compared to other places. Also at my place, so yeah, I can really like compare. Like this place is really like, relaxed. Like people are very kind. And yeah, the whole place is very laid back compared to my place, like in the Philippines. So yes, I really enjoy here.
Yeah, look, it's the same in Singapore. I mean, Singapore is a beautiful country, but yeah, I think Perth is definitely a lot more laid back. People are kind, so that's
Yes.
fantastic news. And how about the campus itself? You know, we're quite curious, you know, especially since we can't travel. I personally haven't been to Perth. Maybe you want to share a bit more about like what you like the most about ECU's campus?
Campus is really like, that was like, it was like when I came here, like I came from a university where it has like, we have gates, we have like entrance, we have like security guards, like you where you can like where you need to like be checked, I like check for ID. And here, like, oh, there was no like gates. It was like a park, it was like a very open park where like even like maybe like old people like can go to like walks or even like jog. It's very open, a lot of trees. And when I was when I was like making the decision to like choose either, because it was either Melbourne or Perth, because like Melbourne as a student destination, I was like looking into Melbourne also and Perth. But I really wanted to like have that whole experience of like the university life, like the whole university. Because like in Melbourne, ECU has only an extension, which made me like, oh, I might not have like the whole student experience. So when I came here, oh, I don't regret my decision at all, because this place is like really like you can just like I could just grab my laptop in the lake, because like the campus has like huge lake, and I can just like go there and or do my like practical activities in my like units in the course. So it's really good. Like the library has a lot, like it's so huge and very modern. It's like when when I came to the library, it feels like Google in the like videos when I see it like in YouTube. So it's very nice. And yeah, also like the gym, we have also the gym and has like the huge discount, which I can like sure like uh have like my stress when I was like very when I like, I'll be very stressed in my assignments. Like I could like just work out and like relieve all the stress there. So yeah, the campus is very nice, and hopefully when like the students are like listening here can explore into or like get into if they wish to enroll in a course here.
It's great. You've mentioned a few nice places. I think the lakes. You seem to love the gym a lot, so that's amazing. Any other
Yeah.
spaces? You know, I don't know if there's any cafes that you will that then future students like. Look, this is the place that you have to go when you're in campus.
Future students, let's see, they have a lot of like food like cafes, because I also like when this year I also have had the opportunity to work like in the ECU as a like communication center, which like I help like students like in their inquiries, whether it would be in their units or just in like study life in general. So yeah, I came to like this like certain parts of the like campus that was really interesting. So there are a lot like cafes inside, like they have this, I I couldn't like describe like the spiky like, but they have like these amazing like cafes or like food places that like students can get into. So yeah, that's so far I can like describe.
Yeah, no worries. Look, sounds like a great place to be. I think now let's go a bit deeper. I think you kind of described a bit or a little about like why you want to go to cybersecurity, but let's move back. I think when you said Friendster might kind of give away your age range, which is fantastic because it's a pretty old platform. And unfortunately,
Yes.
I'm quite familiar with it as well. So I guess we're about the same age. But apart from Friendster itself, was there anything else? You know, was it like, you know, your parents or your friends who were interested in this particular area as well, just IT in general, that piqued your interest?
So yeah, in IT, I really love like yeah that one that made like a major decision in my life. Like when I came to like started like poking around with Friendster, changing the layouts, and when I saw like the power of like change like power, like changing something in the monitor. When I was able to do that through like writing code, I was like immediately like hooked up. I want to do this for a living. I want to do this for life. And yeah, I taught myself HTML, CSS. And when I was like doing websites, I was also tutoring some like students like back in my university that were not IT. So they couldn't like do coding. And if they were like coding their like assignments, like they just couldn't understand it. That's why like that my purpose at that time was like, oh, I could like really help you guys like do some coding and websites. So yeah, that really drove me to pursue like a career in IT, which is really like specifically like programming and coding at that time before I hop into like cybersecurity or like study cybersecurity as a postgraduate degree.
Okay, and then for the master cybersecurity, I think you mentioned earlier, it's really thinking about like what if, I guess, in relation to
Yes.
whatever you develop and if something. So
Yes.
that's a good, I guess it aligns exactly what you've been doing as well. Now, Dr. Ahmad, I think earlier has shared, about what the program kind of entails, but we would love to hear from your perspective, how do you feel the program is structured? What is it like day to day for a student like yourself doing a cybersecurity program?
So yeah, from what Mohi like presented, it really is like that really covers a lot of it. Like I love how ECU like the structure of how like the cybersecurity course is structured in ECU, because they really practice what they preach. You can see when you come into campus, you can see like this like security operations center, and they really they really do practice what they like teach to us. And yeah, it's very practical, like compared to my like previous university, that like when you come to your class, you like listen to like lecture. But what if you get sick? Then you won't have to you need to play catch up, like do or ask your like colleague for notes. Here at ECU, they have like already prepared your lectures. So it doesn't give a disadvantage to anyone, even online. So it like gives equality to every student. And yeah, workshops are all majority of it are hands-on. So you not just that students doesn't not just like learn the theoretical, but all like the hands-on, because like cybersecurity, you don't go to your job just like learn about like, let's say, website hacking, because like I'm really passionate about like software. So you don't just like learn, this how it works, but when you like do like really like hands-on website hacking, you don't know anything. So but ECU doesn't do that. Like it really teaches you why it works, how it works, and you do it. You do like the theoretical stuff right now in like practical way. So yeah, it's really good. Like their curriculum is really like can really teach the students how cybersecurity works from the ins and outs.
Yeah, I think from the earlier presentation, I think there was a lot of talk about, we're always trying to get the students to be career ready. And there's a huge emphasis in that, which is really good, because at the end of the day, you study towards something, it's either you be academic or you're going to the professional world.
Yes.
Now, with all the things set in place for you, how do you see using this Master of Cybersecurity degree, and what are your intentions or your aspirations coming up after you graduate?
So right now, after graduation, like I was really planning to like really go back to where I came from, but use my learnings, like use everything that I've learned, like because like before I studied this, like let's say an analogy, like when you see a house, you see like how you enter the house is only a door. After studying cybersecurity, when I look at a house, I see 10 entry points now. and that also connects in like developing software. When someone uses a software, they see a login page, username, password. But right now, we have a lot of entry points now. We have the URL and a lot of stuff to talk about. But yeah, so like what I'm planning to do is like really like go like develop, like have a solid foundation, like what I'm really passionate about, which is like software, and eventually like use all my skills that I've learned here in like the degree to protect that specific like software that I'm developing. And I'm really blessed right now that I'm currently like part-time employed as a software developer here in Perth. And my team leader also like encourages me to research about like use all of my learnings in my like this degree to what you call it, like apply it in my projects. So yeah, it's been like I'm really grateful for like all of the learnings that I've like all the like information that I've learned from my like instructors. They've been really helpful, like easy to approach, and yeah.
It's great. Okay, then I guess the last one big question, people tend to think, okay, studying a degree is just about, okay, getting the full understanding and applying it at the career world. But I think students like yourself who are studying at a very different environment, cutting out your country, living independently, I believe there are sort of certain things that you learn from living on your own overseas. And how do you think all this will help you prepare for whatever you intend to do in the next step?
Absolutely. I I spoke about this from like the last like Zoom session where I was like helping where I was like talking to students, not specifically to cybersecurity, but what this journey like really taught me is really like time management, like managing time, because like I also like worked part-time before. Yeah, even like now, like when I came here, like I needed to pay the bills. I'm grateful that my parents like is paying for my tuition, but for me as like their like son, I needed to like I told myself that no, I needed to help them even if the bills, because like tuition is like huge enough for them, like burden for them. That's why I told myself I needed to help them pay the bills. That's why like I took a job. My first job here was like cleaning, so it really taught me to like I needed a lot. I needed to get any job will do, as long as I like pay the bills, like get good grades. And luckily, yeah, I haven't like gotten like any low grades so far, and I was able to manage my time. I was able to pay the bills, help them, and it is really priceless to help your parents, who the one who supported you from your childhood up to this point. And yeah, it really helped them to like pay the rent, pay my food independently, live independently, and still like submit your assessments on time. And yeah, I wasn't, if I was able to talk to my like last like 2 year to your past like old self, I couldn't really believe that I'm almost at the finish line right now for like all the like experiences that I've yeah, all the like submitting assignments, like doing part-time job at the same time and in a different unfamiliar place. It is really a challenge, but yeah, I'm really grateful.
It's good. Seems like you definitely achieved a lot. Like you said, I mean, studying is one thing, but it seems like you got a lot of it. And I've always admired, I mean, I myself studied overseas, and I always admired people, when you go overseas, you still try to work and earn your own money and still balance study as well. That's an amazing and hard thing to do. So that's very good on
Yes.
you. Yeah, I guess the last question before we kind of open up, if there is any questions from students, but I would like to ask, I mean, right now you're in the position right now, right? What would you advise to students who are looking to study overseas and also specifically looking at cybersecurity programs? Like, would you recommend them to maybe before getting into this program, do a bit of studying or know certain stuff so that life will be easier?
So the structure, how like the first semester of like the cybersecurity, like in my case, like when I was like looking at the latest like curriculum for master, let's say master of cybersecurity, because I'm studying the masters, like they teach you the foundations at the early start, but it won't hurt for you to have like that basic research for networking, for like how operating system works and basic coding. It won't hurt, but they will teach you that on the early semester, so you don't have to worry about it. But having that basic foundation of real IT, networking, operating systems, how websites works, it would really help you in the long run. But I have seen like my classmates who didn't have any IT degrees really flourished in this course. So it wouldn't like, don't be scared if you're not IT. Let's say you're doing like healthcare and you really wanted to do like cybersecurity, don't be afraid. If you have enough like persistence, if you're really curious enough and you're willing to learn, then go for it. We welcome you here at ECU, like study this cybersecurity course. And yeah, this for everybody. You don't need to have like the specific degree. I've seen a lot of like YouTube videos, like testimonials, have like they were now like security engineers from a different degree. I think us, like my instructor also like this really inspired us, that my like first instructor told us like there was this like ballet student who is now like a security engineer, and like that blew my mind. So yeah, last one tip for everybody. Yeah, don't be afraid, just be like passionate, like persistent enough to like be curious at like researching, and yeah, you'll be here in no time.
Great, that's probably a good tip. I guess across journey in life, as long as you're passionate and persistent about something, you'll probably get there. So I guess that brings to the close of all the questions I kind of have for you, Daryl. And also thank you,
Thank you,
Ahmad,
Rizali.
as well for all the entire session. I guess there's this one question that I would like to ask, because I feel that a lot of our students do come in, and I'm talking about the students who may not come from a diploma background, meaning they're just looking at general areas of study. And one of the popular things they like to ask us, and I thought it's best to ask you guys, is they tend to ask us, what's the difference between studying something IT and then there's another degree that called computer science? Is there a major difference that we're looking at?
Oh, which one? IT and computer. Are you like asking the difference of computer science and IT?
Yeah, sort of.
Rizali?
If there is a major difference in terms of what students are looking at, because usually they say, oh yeah, I want to study IT, but I don't really know what IT is about. I see this thing called computer science, but again, I'm not really entirely sure. Is there a way to kind of, if you want to explain it to a student, a simpler form of telling, okay, this is what IT entails, this is what computer science is. It could be a subset of one another, but what's your best explanation around it?
For me, just like I'm just gonna speak like a student's perspective from what I've seen. I haven't like looked into like the curriculum. If I wouldn't like, if I knew this like question would like come along, I would have done my research on how the ECU curriculum works. But I'm just gonna talk about like my student perspective. I may ask Mohi about this to like back me up on this one after this. But yeah, so from what I've like saw, like IT is really more on like the broader like side of like the usage of like software and like a lot of like things. Like it also deals with people, because like I came from not really IT but like mix of like communication and technology. So I did a lot of public speaking where I talk about like technology to like let people understand how this works, and not just like the technical jargon. Oh my gosh, this is like programming like C, like PHP, and like the regular people don't understand about it. So that's my like really background about it, like how I need to like communicate to people how technology works, and for them to understand that this is really critical to their like day-to-day life. So, but yeah, IT is really on like the broader technical side on how it works. And computer science is like, from my like experience, like I have like friends from computer science, it really like focuses on the algorithms, on how like the architecture works. And yeah, I might need Mohi to back me up on this, because like he has a lot of experience in this industry.
I mean, thank you, Darren, for clarifying this. First thing first, I mean, honestly, I'm feeling really proud to see you talking about your experience and everything. And yeah, I mean, that's why we are doing our best to support you guys all the time. Now, coming back to Razali's question, the difference between IT and computer science. Yes, I 100% agree with Darren. IT is more focused on equipping the students to look at future career roles such as IT consultant, DevOps engineer, or a DevOps manager, or data analyst. It's more like a broader term. So in the first year of IT course, the students get fundamental skills like mathematics, programming, computer security, cryptography. And the second year, they look at units like leadership, IT security management, enterprise security and governance. And in the third year, they work on a very specific project. So that gives them the confidence to work as anything to do with IT. So the IT graduates, they can fit into any type of organization. So if you're looking at from the employability perspective, but when it comes down to computer science, they are more focused on the actual engine at the background. So they're looking at how this algorithm works, how this code works, what is the actual building blocks or the architecture behind building an app, a software, or developing something new, something cool. So yes, so if you're looking at a Bachelor of IT graduate, so that guy might be IT analyst at Google. And if you're looking at Bachelor of Computer Science, that guy might be looking at software developer position at Google. So it might be any other companies. But yeah, IT is much broader term and looking at a lot of stuff and mostly looking at leadership positions. But computer science, it's designed as such. They know the extremely technical stuff and can do everything from scratch.
All right.
Hope
Look,
it makes sense.
Yeah, look, that completely makes sense to me. I think when you made reference to, the kind of positions that looking at, it gets a lot easier to understand. So thank you, Dr. Ahmad, and thank you as well, Daryl and Natalie, for the
Thank you,
entire
Rizali.
day. I think this brings us to the end of the session. It's been a very great sharing, knowing more about ECU, knowing more about cybersecurity program, and then lastly also knowing about the student experience. And again, even for ourselves, we feel very proud to hear what an experience you have, Daryl, and we wish you all the best. You're at the final leg. Hopefully, we'll cross paths again, and hopefully there'll be days that we can get you on board to speak to more of our students who are interested in courses like this.
I would be honored. Thank you, IDP. Thank you, ECU, for having me here.
All right. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Mohit. And thank you, Natalie.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mohit. Thank you, Natalie.
Bye-bye.